Chris, and I'm one of the elders at the Beacon Church in Camberley, and I'm really pleased that you've chosen to join us today for Church at Home in this very unusual season that we're all going through together. I wonder, how are you doing in maintaining that sense of normality in this season? I mean, everything's changed, hasn't it? I know for many, your life has become a lot busier. Perhaps you are one of those key workers and your working life has become a lot more pressured. It's probably stressful at this moment. In this church, we've got a lot of healthcare workers, many in hospitals, many in residential care settings. And for you, I imagine, what was already a high-pressured role has now become, well, even more pressured. It's changed. And for others, you may be trying to work from home, or maybe trying to balance having children around with schools closed. Possibly you're balancing both those things. Parents trying to work whilst homeschooling at the same time. Gosh, hasn't it changed? Life for our kids has changed. Their rhythms and routines are not normal anymore. And for others, the way you go about your life has changed immeasurably. If you live alone, then being able to have connection with others has changed. And for those who don't work, the way we spend our time has changed. If you're someone who's been told to self-isolate because of an underlying health condition or a class that's been part of an at-risk group, then your life has changed significantly too. Maybe you've lost your job or you found yourself furloughed in this season. There may even be someone that you know and love who through this virus will die. And loss is one of the biggest changes that can possibly happen to us. There's change happening everywhere. The way we shop has changed. The way we communicate has changed. And I wonder if the way we view life may be changing too. I wonder whether your perspective has changed about life. I mean, who really is in control? Certainly it seems that for many of us, we are not in control of this situation. Other than washing our hands and staying at home, we can't really do anything about it. But also, are the powers and authorities in our lives in control? Where once we look to authority figures in our lives to sort out our problems, just like a child will often look to a parent to make things better, now we can see that even those authority figures don't have all the answers. The authority figures in our lives, those whose presence make us feel secure and are all vulnerable to this virus just like we are. You see, this virus has no regard for position of authority. In our country alone, we've seen that the monarchy have had the virus, government leaders have had it, celebrities have had it, police officers have had it, the military have had it, healthcare workers have had it, and the young and old alike have had it. There's no one who is immune from the impact of it. Where once we might have trusted that those in authority may be able to make it better, this has changed us. This is not to say that our government, our scientists, our healthcare professionals, our leaders are unable to do anything, but ultimately, they don't have the total level of authority over this virus that we may have hoped and put our trust in. So, I wonder, how are you doing with all this change? Perhaps you're doing well at adjusting to this new way of life, you're cool with it. But it would not surprise me if many of us, me included, would say that we are struggling to adjust to this change. When one thing changes in our lives, most people will have enough emotional resilience to manage, but when everything around us changes, that's unsettling. Well, I want to encourage us all today by telling you that Jesus Christ is the same yesterday and today and forever. We read this in the New Testament, and amongst all the changes we may be facing, I want us to cling on to this fact. Jesus Christ is the same yesterday and today and forever. So I want us to consider what this really means. What was Jesus, who is God, like yesterday? What is he like today? And what will he be like forever? Now, in such times as these, I often think, what would Maria von Trapp say? Indeed, if we want to consider what Jesus was like yesterday, we should start at the very beginning. The very beginning of the Bible. It's a book called the Book of Genesis. And in the first words of the Bible, we read this. In the beginning, God, who is Jesus, created the heavens and the earth. You see, God has always been there. From the very start of the world, God has been constant. And so this virus has not come as a surprise to him. He was not caught out by this. And so we need to know this through this whole season of change. God is with us. He is with us. Now, perhaps you don't feel that right now. Perhaps you're feeling that you're on your own, or you're wondering where God is in this season. But the truth of God's word is that Jesus is the same yesterday and today and forever. And so if he is with us in the beginning, then he is with us today. And he will be with us always. Now just allow that to settle in with you. God is with you. Now next you see that right from the beginning God created man, that we were made to have relationship with him. The book of Genesis says that in the beginning God walked with Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden. When he created Adam and Eve, he made them so that he could have relationship with them, a personal relationship with them. And he gave them purpose, that they should care for this world and that they would be blessed. God blessed them and said to them, be fruitful and increase in number. You see, God's people were always designed to be blessed and to be fruitful in this world. And God blesses his people in order that they may be a blessing to others. And so in this time of change, and it's a very unsettling time, I want you to know that God's plans and purposes remain constant. And these things are true for those of you who are Christians today, and it's also true for those who are not yet Christians. God wants to have relationship with you in this time. He wants to give you purpose in this season. He wants to bless you through this crisis. And he wants you to be a blessing to others. And how do I know this? Well, Jesus Christ is the same yesterday, today, and forever. If he was like that in the beginning, then he's like that today. And he'll be like that forever. Now the Bible tells us that God stepped down from heaven as a baby about 2,000 years ago. You'll likely know it from the Christmas story of Jesus being born. And that baby grew to be a man who became a great teacher. And his teaching has transformed my life and many millions of Christians around the world. Jesus' teaching was revolutionary in its time, and it still is today. He taught his followers that they were to love God and that they should love one another. We read this in the Bible, in Matthew's account of the life of Jesus. And Jesus says this, love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all of your mind. This is the first and the greatest commandment, and the second is like it. Love your neighbour as yourself. It's a simple message. Be blessed in knowing the one who created you, and in becoming all that he has created you for, in order that you may be a blessing to those around you. Love your neighbours, Jesus said. Now, the one final thing Jesus taught his followers to do whilst doing these things was that they were to teach others to do God, to love each other, and to tell others about this message. So, as a church, the Beacon Church Camberley has a vision that is very much in line with this simple teaching. Our vision is that together we will know Jesus better and that we will make Jesus known. Now, in this time of change, does this change our vision? What does church look like in this season? Does our vision still have relevance? Well, if Jesus Christ is the same yesterday, today and forever, then absolutely our vision is right for today. Beacon Church, we more than ever need to stay together. We need to grow in knowing Jesus better. And more than ever, our eyes need to be fixed on sharing the love and hope of Jesus with those around us who are fearful, who are seeking answers, who need to know about the one who loves them, who is seeking connection with them, who is the only hope for this broken world, and who one day will return and restore this broken world that we live in. You know, in the final book of the Bible, Revelation, we discover that Jesus Christ, who is the same yesterday and today and forever, what he has in store. Where for now we live in this broken world, one where a deadly virus can change so much, we learn of his amazing master plan. We read this in Revelation 21. We read, "Then I saw a new heaven and a new earth. For the first heaven and the first earth had passed away, and there was no longer any sea. I saw the holy city, the new Jerusalem, coming down out of heaven from God, prepared as a bride beautifully dressed for her husband. And I heard a loud voice from the throne saying, "Now the dwelling of God is with men, and he will live with them. They will be his people, and God himself will be with them and be their God. And there will be no more death or mourning or crying or pain, for the old order of things has passed away." He who was seated on the throne said, "I am making everything new." Then he said, "Write these things down, for these words are trustworthy and true." It's an amazing vision that Jesus Christ, who is the same yesterday and today and forever, has a plan. He's going to return. We don't know when, the Bible's very clear on that. But when he does, he'll make everything new. No more death, no more tears. He will still be the one seated on the throne, and he will be the one who has never changed. And for those who have chosen to follow him, then they will be together with him. They will be blessed by him, and they will delight in him for eternity. Now, if you'd not call yourself a Christian today, I want to encourage you to find out more about the one who does not change, about the Jesus who wants to know you, who wants to show you amazing plans and purposes for your life, who wants to bless you, and who wants you to bless others. If you want to find out more, then visit our website, where you can download and read a copy of Mark's Gospel for yourself, or get in touch with us, and we'd love to chat with you. Now, in the weeks ahead, we're going to be sharing more about what it looks like to live out this vision in some of our midweek communications that we send out. How we will stay together, how we'll grow in knowing Jesus better together, and how we'll make Jesus known together in this season. You know, the landscape may now look different for us as a church family, but the values are the same. We'll remain united together, we will grow together, and we will declare the good news about Jesus together. Lots may have changed in our lives, but Jesus never will.